Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game FoCuS versus SoC. This game taking place here on Lost Temple. FoCuS spawning as the blue orc here at the 6 o'clock position. Meanwhile, SoC spawning as spawning as the yellow human. And I need to double check this now just to make sure. Yeah, it is FoCuS versus SoC. Sometimes when I see this Mus Osong Song, I'm probably butchering the Korean. I am sorry. I keep on thinking that it's moon for a quick moment. Anyways, SoC versus FoCuS here on Lost Temple. Now, a couple of things to note. SoC is actually spawning in a disadvantage as he is spawning counterclockwise to his opponent. This expansion here is normally fairly easy for human players to try and establish, get up an arcane tower and protect, more so if it is cross map or if you spawn clockwise from your opponent, as the walking distance is quite far. How it looks right now, the Farseer or Blade Master can easily jump on out and then just head on over there to try and do a bit of disruption. With that said, though, there is a lot of creep camps in the center portion of Lost Temple that do drop very good items. One of the reasons why I like Lost Temple so much early on was it really made sense to go for 2 or even 3 heroes back in the Reign of Chaos days. There was just so many item drops on this map that simply 6 item slots or even 12 item slots were often not enough. With that said, though, we'll see how all of this unfolds here in just a little bit. Now, I just gotta ask a throwback question. Does anyone remember back in the day where your second hero and your third hero all when they were trained from your altar, still had a Scroll of Town portal? Yeah, that was one of those big items. Scroll of Town portal, so important, and they were included with every single hero. So it was such a big encouragement to go for your second hero, just because of how much. Well, a Scroll of Town portal costs 350 gold, or get a hero, and get a hero if you spend 100 lumber more and 175 more gold. So that's just the way it went down. Coming back across here, Archmage going to go ahead and clean things up, wanting to pick up that Tome of Intelligence, that a little bit of damage bonus. However, the Spirit Wolves are getting in some free attacks on that Archmage as well. All right, units are going to try and retreat back as those peasants are now back to their normal, weak, slower selves. I'm not quite sure how picking up armor and swords makes those militia run faster than their peasant form, but, well, it's time to get back to work. Archmage continuing to fire back as well. Ring of Protection +4 will help against the auto attacks of these wolves, but it isn't a dramatic enough difference where the Archmage can just stand around and absorb that damage. All right, peasant trying to retreat back here. He does, or that militia does, wander around a little bit more quickly. It looks as though one footman going to get taken down. As that footman gets taken down, going to get denied. The peasant ends up falling here as the Archmage still sitting at level 1. Now, Farseer's job by FoCuS is to keep this Archmage away from level 2. Because of that Archmage's passive Brilliance Aura, anytime that he can delay that Brilliance Aura, he knows that he is delaying the overall mana of that Archmage. It means less water elementals. It means, it means a slower Archmage overall. Now, Spirit Wolf going to easily get finished off right there. Headhunters continuing to poke around as well. There's still a lot of militia out here on the battlefield, though, with units just at full hit points. One footman about to get taken down. All right, it does end up falling. Another low hit point Grun down to 120 as the Archmage gets up to level 2, and we'll see if FoCuS decides it is no longer worth trying to continue this harassment, as the Archmage now, with that Brilliance Aura, able to continually just crank out those water elementals in a much more efficient manner than FoCuS can train up those Spirit Wolves. Archmage of SoC going to hold on to this position here. Grunt actually standing next to the Fountain of Health. And this is funny. I believe the Grunt actually wins out on this war. Grunt just currently standing here. Footman purposely aggroing the creeps. And now this Grunt may end up getting taken down to 23 hit points. And now being forced to run all the way back home, where a healing salve will be waiting for him eventually. Meanwhile, Farseer is still trying to put pressure onto that Archmage. And that Archmage's additional Ring of Protection +4 actually keeping it out of that red zone. By giving it that little bit of additional armor protection, the passive regeneration on the Archmage is enough to keep the Archmage out of that red zone here, currently sitting at 150 hit points, and perhaps we'll be getting up an Arcane Vault sooner rather than later. Tech to Tier 2 should nearly be done by FoCuS, and we should be looking at a Tauren Chieftain as that second hero. FoCuS needs to take this opportunity, get some healing, get some experience on the board. Level 2 Farseer is going to be desperately needed as we head over here to the bottom left-hand side. All right, Forest Troll Shadow Priest can easily get cleared up here. Grunt down to 173 hit points, still slowly but surely regenerating now. We're looking at those Spirit Wolves getting cleaned up as well. A Grunt down to 169. I thought perhaps he might have actually purposely been held back so he doesn't use up so many of those healing salves shards, but that is not the case. Tome of Intelligence also being left behind here. Perhaps the Tauren Chieftain will go on over and pick it up as we go into a Bestiary and a Spirit Lodge. One lone footman trying to run all the way back, spots a little bit of damage here. Peon could have come in and played a little bit of a dance game here. Now we're looking at down to 122 hit points. Is the Tauren Chieftain going to pop on out and go after that footman as well? No, not going to do that. No endurance aura. He just walks on out here as FoCuS is focusing on the Archmage, who is about to hit level 3. All right, we are getting up a great haul here. Expo now being properly set up. Expo by Salk already up and operational as the Archmage does a quick run by here as the Ogre Maulers and Creeps in the center portion of the map have still not been cleared up. Back in the center portion here, Tauren Chieftain looking to, well, do quite a bit of damage. Grunts across the board here. Perhaps he can get to level 2, pick up a Ring of Protection, and then be able to tank out a lot of that damage in this front spot. All right, Footman simply just running on by now. What is going on? Going to try and clear out of this relatively difficult creep camp, but as you can see, the Tauren Chieftain, with the help of the Fountain of Health, should really not be in that much of a danger. Grunt currently down to 191 hit points as the Archmage of Salk is actually allowing this to happen right now, allowing to clear out a relatively difficult creep camp, but because of the high hit points on the Tauren Chieftain and actually adding in a Health Stone as well, am currently okay. Tauren Chieftain now looking to back away here as we're looking at the Archmage leading the charge, perhaps trying to shut down this Great Hall before it gets operational. Now the Archmage should be able to pick up that Tome of Intelligence for a little bit of bonus damage as well. Drops a Water Elemental and now says thank you very much for that bit of bonus damage. All right. Shaman are out here onto the battlefield. Are we going to see a couple of purges? Yes, we are. A quick purge right there as the Tauren Chieftain comes in with a big stomp to stop much of that damage. All right, Footmen do have Defend. They are able to reflect back a little bit of that damage here as the Footmen, well, force a cancellation. There's going to be a purge onto the Archmage. Archmage is going to be forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal, and that stomp was just a split second late. Meanwhile, number of footmen tried to dive on in, perhaps get some damage onto a couple of these peons. Well, the corpses being left behind, the skeletal remains of a couple of peons who were just trying to do some work will be remembered if, well, FoCuS can take this victory. Coming back across here, well, guard towers really well defended off in this position. No masonry upgrades though, as we are now going into a single arcane sanctum with dual barracks. All right, so interestingly enough, dual racks with a single arcane sanctum. We may be looking at a transition into riflemen and only priest instead of adding in some of those sorceresses as well. As the Great Hall is getting reestablished once again, old-fashioned way. Thank you for the sub. Establish this the old-fashioned way. Not going to tier 3 with a fortress. we'll see what FoCuS wants to do for his unit composition. Footmen should slowly be transitioned out here as we see riflemen are joining out here on the battlefield. The dual racks is more for the more to blow into or jump into low upkeep, a good amount of low upkeep quickly. You don't want to be staying in that 50s zone. You want to get into the high 60s and 70 range as you are taxed. Meanwhile, FoCuS is sitting at 47 over 51 and doesn't have his second base operational as of yet. That does mean he has a decent sized army over his opponent as he has less workers, but can he translate that into a victory out here on the battlefield? All right, Spirit Wolves now getting summoned up. Stormbolt, no, not be, or Stormbolt straight up onto a wolf there, as we're going to be looking at a couple of units getting finished off once more. Tauren Chieftain is sitting at level 3 and a potion of invisibility on the Tauren Chieftain now. So potion of invisibility on the Tauren Chieftain. My overlay decided to stop working. My apologies. Tauren Chieftain gonna test the waters, see where everything is at. We are still training up more and more riflemen. 61 supply over 72. Meanwhile, Farseer clearing out the remainders of this of the temple creeps, so to speak, as a Kodo Beast is going to get storm-bolted and easily get cleaned up here. Riflemen having an absolute field day, going to finish off this Kodo Beast. One more final shot. Big 4 supply unit getting taken down pretty quickly. Meanwhile, is the Archmage going to try and go after a relatively difficult creep camp? Yes, not knowing that the Tauren Chieftain is right within range and seeing all of this right now. All right, Farseer coming back across here. Ogre Lord going to get taken down. Tauren Chieftain trying to get into position and then throws down the stomp, a massive stomp across multiple units as the Tauren Chieftain is still in position once more. Archmage does not have a Scroll of Town Portal. Mountain King does have Jangle of Endurance Aura as both sides are still fighting their way through. Stormbolt onto the Tauren Chieftain to prevent a stomp that's just going to delay it as we see a stomp right there. Lightning Shield now down, racking up damage across all of these units. Chain Lightning bouncing across as well as we see another Lightning Shield go down as well. Tauren Chieftain needs a little bit more mana. That level 3 Tauren Chieftain doesn't have maximum mana capacity to lay down multiple stomps, but is getting extremely close as the level 4 Farseer is now out. All right, level 4 Farseer. Tauren Chieftain could be in a little bit of trouble. He may have gone a little bit too far and then throws down another stomp again using a Scroll of Town Portal in order to get away. Did he rack up enough damage? It looks like he did. 49 supply now going up against 58. FoCuS with a great reversal right there, able to punish Sok for that, a little bit of greedy play, not realizing that the Tauren Chieftain was watching all of it unfold. Multiple stomps, stunning over a half dozen units every single time. Ended up being the downfall there. However, Mountain King does pick up some Endurance Aura, so 5% movement speed, allowing him to move across the map faster, and now Sorceress is on the field, perhaps going to be able to push down enough slow. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing again, apparently, as Sok now tries to clear out the top left-hand creep camp, which will give the Mountain King level 3. All right, level 3 means level 2 Stormbolt or Thunderclap, depending on what he's looking for. There's level 3 now, also picking up a Cloak of Flames. All right, a good thing that the Cloak of Flames was not dropped for that Tauren Chieftain. Otherwise, Lightning Shield coupled with Cloak of Flames and Stomp, and well, that Tauren Chieftain would definitely become a one-man wrecking crew. Coming back around here, Archmage nearing level 4. Mountain King heading off, gonna try and clear out some orange creep camps as well. Here we are, here we go. Tauren Chieftain, well, the Mountain King just gonna go straight after the Rock Golem. Not perhaps landing any thunderclaps right there. Mountain King still wants to get to level 4 apparently. Picks up a Ring of the Archmagi, +3 to every single stat, and now looking at some impressive mana for a level 3 Mountain King. Coming back across here, Tauren Chieftain is sitting at level 4 and now, well, wanting to get to level 5 desperately. That level 3 stomp really changes things as the duration on that stomp, well, seemingly lasts forever, especially if you add in the Shadow Hunter as well, that you can hex stomp lock out a hero and prevent them from being able to use a Scroll of Town portal, forcing them into a fight. All right, are we looking at a potential expansion? We are. There we go. FoCuS now setting up an expansion at the 9 o'clock spot as well. Farseer. Oh, this is going to be an absolute problem. All right, Sock knows that he is in a position where he may actually get exposed. Granite Golem is in position here. All right, Red Drakes are going to be trying to fire back as well. Meanwhile, there's a reveal. They're not coming from this side. They're coming from the other side right now. And there's the Scroll of Town portal to try and retreat away. All right, what item was grabbed? Scepter of Mastery. It is able to be used to take control of an enemy unit, essentially charm by the Dark Ranger. Perhaps picking up a Kodo Beast would be extremely useful if his opponent gets or trains up one. Off to the north, a couple of peasants trying to build up some scout towers first. That doesn't look like it will work. Peons here could easily get taken down. Perhaps a little bit of experience is all that is needed. No, Tauren Chieftain will need a bit more after these peasants get finished off here, as dual level 4 heroes going up against dual level 4 heroes. However, a slight experience advantage for the Orc. Obviously, whoever gets to level 5 first will have a big advantage overall. So far, Sock has been the one clearing out creep camps that are just a tad more difficult. You can see this Rock Golem creep camp slightly harder than this orange creep camp here, as the Tauren Chieftain still not yet at level 5. Oh, thank you. Claws of Attack +4, now properly labeled, instead of having that +5 icon there, but still only giving +4 damage. All right, the W3 Champions team staying on top of everything overall. Now, what is going to be going across here? Or maybe, I don't know, was that actually Blizzard updating those icons? Because that would be quite helpful. Anyways, Farseer does have dual Gloves of Haste here. Faster attack speed. Tauren Chieftain still looking to clear out some more creep camps. Farseer also benefits from a little bit of experience as well. So both sides really trying to clear out and get to level 5. Mountain King is doing his invisibility trick now, and the invisibility trick generally means he plans to launch a large number of thunderclaps. This red creep camp does still have a couple of creeps here remaining, and who's going to be able to clear them out as we see an invisible water elemental keep track of this Orc army. Mountain King, Cloak of Flames, Healthstone, Scroll of Healing, a lot of powerful consumable items and just powerful items in general, adding in Ring of Protection +4 and a Talisman of Evasion. All right, Tauren Chieftain gonna go after this Ogre Magi creep camp here. He will get to level 5, I believe. Yes, there's level 5 on the Farseer. Tauren Chieftain just right behind. Dual level up here as the Kodo Beast, well, in trouble. Mountain King in the back here gets a Stormbolt off there. Mountain King continuing to retreat back. Are we perhaps going to get some ensnares? There goes one Kodo Beast. The Scepter of Mastery quickly used there, as the Kodo Beast is going to get stunned down and taken out. Mountain King now with Cloak of Flames coupled with Thunderclap, slowing things down quite a bit, as the Sorceresses and Thunderclap causing some problems. There's another stomp right there. Riflemen now getting, well, stopped in their tracks, as the Tauren Chieftain does have a Potion of Invulnerability, trying to finish off more of these units. Tauren Chieftain now trying to make its way over. Perhaps we'll be able to get in some damage, get some lightning shields off onto some of those fleeing units. And it looks as though the chain lightning did arch a little, taking down one unit before, well, finishing or before damaging some other units back there. All right, here's a retreat back. Both the sides, oddly enough, are up on 3 bases. You rarely get to see 3 base play here on WarCraft 3. Normally 1.7 bases, I would say, is the average number of bases at any given time. However, well, FoCuS's Expo has now been revealed, as Arcane Sentry was researched at the Arcane Sanctums. So all of these Arcane Towers get free reveals out there on the battlefield. A handful of additional creep camps are available for clearing. I believe there's a red drake here and still having one granite golem down here as well. All right, Tauren Chieftain going into the corner. Farseer says, you know what, I'm going to pick up a Scroll of Town Portal just in case. Tauren Chieftain now doing his invisibility a trick again as the Farseer holding onto that Mana Stone, hoping to cast plenty of Chain Lightning and perhaps summon up a couple more Spirit Wolves. This is the level 2 variety. Level 3 Chain Lightning was actually picked up over level 3 Shadow Wolves. All right, what's going down now? Archmage looking to finish off, well, that little scouting guy there. Archmage, Mountain King, a bit behind in terms of experience. Dual level 5 heroes for FoCuS and the Orc army. Is that enough to try and push things over the edge here? As that Mountain King does get to level 5 and now perhaps has access to level 3 Thunderclap. Archmage picks up a Claws of Attack +4 here as another Expo now being set up by Sok, perhaps trying to set up one before this one fully gets taken down. Sok also going into the castle upgrade as well. Meanwhile, we are still sitting at Stronghold, and FoCuS is actually in high upkeep here. He has 97 supply compared to Sok's 880 right now, and Sok also has, well, 1,800 gold in the bank. All right, Raider is going to easily take down this town hall. I don't know if we have a pillage or not. I'm not quite sure why my overlay stopped working. Let's see, take a look. Yeah, I can't quite tell. High. All right, Scroll of Town Portal heading back to the other side here. This Great Hall going to hold on. Mountain King going to go ahead and get in a big Thunderclap right there. Big damage across the board. Cloak of Flames as the Tauren Chieftain trying to get dropped. Yes, there's the Tauren Chieftain drop right there, surrounded, and now stunning up quite a bit of damage. Now trying to perhaps use a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Is he going to get stunned? Yes, Stormbolt stun as the Tauren Chieftain now uses a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability right there. Going to throw down another stun, trying to finish off more of those units. Level 3 Chain Lightning really racking up quite a bit of damage as the Tauren Chieftain, now down to 361 hit points, has to back away, perhaps try to hide over there at that Fountain of Health. Was enough damage done? That is the question, as the Raiders are still leading the charge here. Mountain King still has a Potion of Mana. Could get off another large Thunderclap as the Grunts in the back part of the field unable to engage openly. There's another Thunderclap right there. Chain Lightning still bouncing around. Farseer using up that Mana Stone in order to pick off a couple of more units as that Mountain King gets in another massive clap right there. Scroll of Healing used to try and counteract, but that Mountain King's Cloak of Flames dealing so much damage overall as multiple units are going to get taken down. All right, Scroll Lightning Shield going back at home. However, not enough damage to finish off any of these low hit point units. Expo back off at the top right, now getting rebuilt. Meanwhile, plenty of opportunity to set up an Expo at the, well, what I'll call the 1 o'clock location. The 2 o'clock location is already getting built up here as the Tauren Chieftain going to heal up at this Fountain of Health. So much damage absorbed as the Archmage now leading the charge here. Mountain King could try to get up a large Thunderclap again, and there's a starting Thunderclap already causing problems for these Grunts who have just been soaking up so much damage. Tauren Chieftain now trying to get in a position here, but he's not able to do so. Farseer now gets up to level 6. Level 3 Spirit Wolves are going to most likely be on the table here as this low hit point Grunt should be getting in some heals as well. Overall supply, 58 supply going up against 70. Massive army size advantage for FoCuS. And he is still mining off of 2 bases, with a 3rd base coming around soon. Yes, Evil Satan, yes. FoCuS is Tauren Chieftain. If he had level 3 Shockwave, could have finished off all of those units with Shockwave. But he has Stomp instead, and that Stomp has been what is slowing down and allowing that Chain Lightning to get back. It's often a weird spot to be in, as the Tauren Chieftain Shockwaves has a bit more range and can really devastate a back line pretty easily. But at the same time, if you're able to take riflemen, a large group of riflemen out of commission for say 4 or 5 seconds with that stun, the amount of damage that you've mitigated is actually really quite large, and helps you as well as you're able to keep your units alive. We've seen how close those grunts have been to death multiple times, and now because of the fountain of health here on the center of Lost Temple, they're able to get back into position, and you can see them now an 80 over 100 supply advantage compared to 61 over 100. It is up to FoCuS to try and find a way to close out this game, as the Tauren Chieftain is now getting back up on a decent amount of mana again. Alright, Invisible Water Elemental coming across by Sock, giving, well, game-changing scouting information. Meanwhile, Archmage tries to retreat back here. Mountain King, Archmage finally sits at level 5, opting to go for level 3 Brilliance Aura to help that Mountain King stay topped off on mana. And that Mountain King with level 3 Thunderclap, if he's able to get 3 or 4 Thunderclaps off out in a battle, or 5, that front line just completely, well, melts away. It's going to be up to FoCuS to be able to perhaps get in some hit and run tactics, as we can see, well, an Invisible Water Elemental scouting out this Great Hall here. All right, do we have an operational base here? Yes, we do. Operational base here, yes. Only 1 minute of mining left. Still plenty of mining here. About 6.5 minutes for FoCuS's expo at the 7 o'clock location. So it will soon be 2 bases to 3. Now, those arcane, those Shadow Wolves, however, are quickly revealed against these arcane towers here. That arcane sight pretty much preventing the Shadow Wolves from having an absolute field day, as the Archmage shows up to try and, well, clean them up before they finish off any units. But this buys time for FoCuS to run out across the map again. All right, it feels like Lost Temple is a rather large map right now, as both sides are just trying to run and just get into the proper position. Raiders are now in position here. Tauren Chieftain with that Endurance Aura has Scroll of Healing, and now we're going to go into perhaps get some ensnares as well. Both sides are lining up to get a good fight here. Are we going to perhaps open things up with a Chain Lightning? There's a Thunderclap right there, trying to move things off. Tauren Chieftain does have a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. There's a Blizzard and a Stun, and the Spellbreakers also removing quite a bit of mana as well. There's a Chain Lightning still bouncing across the backside there, but a Scroll of Healing by the Archmage, followed by a Blizzard, really racking up more damage again. That extra bit of Blizzard damage may have been what was needed to push the Mountain King's Thunderclap over the edge, but the Tauren Chieftain did get to level 6 first, and now we have access to Reincarnate, or Resurrection. No, Reincarnation. That's not real. Oh. You know what I mean. The Tauren Chieftain's going to get knocked down, but still get back up again with no problem. Lightning Shield now followed by a Scroll of Healing to keep all of these units alive and well. Tauren Chieftain, if you knock him out, he is just going to continue to fight as well. Kodo Beast off to the back here could easily finish off here, as Spirit or Shadow Wolves are now getting controlled magic by those Spellbreakers. Tauren Chieftain still going after all of these units here. You can see one orange Shadow Wolf trying to take down the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain going to get knocked down, but he should get back up again. Perhaps he should just have stood underneath that and that Blizzard for a moment. Now Farseer is in a little bit of trouble. He gets taken out. Tauren Chieftain gets back up and sees that his partner in crime is lost. Tauren Chieftain trying to finish things off here, but it does not look good at all, and that is the game. Sock actually outlasting his opponent and getting the Farseer kill at level 6. The Mountain King with hordes and hordes of mana, as we mentioned, from that level 3 Brilliance Aura. Opening up with Thunderclap and Stormbolt on a Thunderclap and then a Stormbolt on the Tauren Chieftain normally pushes the Mountain King to maybe be able to cast 2 more spells only. Couple that with the duration of that fight, mana regeneration, and 1 more mana pot, and add on top of that little bit of extra burst damage with Blizzard, and that's all Sock needed to have that fight go his way. It felt like FoCuS had a large army size advantage for much of the game here, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.